What's up guys, Kevin Goetz here from Mute Profit, helping you achieve musical success. Today we're going to be talking about how to set up a professional practice schedule. What I define as a professional practice schedule, you might not, okay? Because for me, it's so much more than just practicing my instrument. You know, I have to spend X amount of time working with audio engineering, as well as marketing and just all my other creative things, as well as songwriting. So every skill that you have as a musician is something that requires its own set amount of time. So I don't even practice guitar every single day. I devote a day to each thing. And for me, because this is my job, I can do it for 8 to 10 hours a day with no issue, right? So I acknowledge that I have a lot more time. But I've gotten a lot of students on Skype asking me, like, how would you recommend practicing if we only have like an hour or 2 hours a day? And I gave that some thought, and here's my recommendation. My recommendation is, I'm gonna assume 1 hour, 2 hours would be ideal, but you know, for the worst possible scenario, let's go with 1 hour. What I would do is break it up across multiple days. So I would split it, where I would do half an hour in the morning, let's say, working on one technique per day. Maybe that's alternate picking, then legato, then sweep picking, then, you know, whatever it is that you are most focused on. And it doesn't have to be 7 different techniques across the week. It can totally be like, if you don't have that many techniques you want to worry about, just like do alternate picking 2 days a week, etc. And then for the other half hour, let's say in the evening, you should really be working on songwriting. If you're not, why are you not? You really need to be making original music if you wanna get somewhere as a musician. And the best part about that is, you know, I recommend to my students that you write music that it becomes practice to play. I am a strong advocate of writing music that works also as technical practice. Exhibit A for sweep picking. But yeah, so once you get to the point where your songs are written, you know, maybe as like guitar profiles or whatever, you can play along to those. And what you're doing there is developing your musical ear, which you really, really need to be doing. You cannot just sit there playing to a metronome all day. It doesn't work. You need to think in terms of drums, you need to think in terms of melody, chord lines, everything. And you don't get that if you're just listening to a click. However, if you write your own music, as I have advised, then there you go. And for those of you who, for whatever reason, don't want to write original music, if you're just, I will never understand that, but, you know, I've had some students who are like, no, I'm just really adverse to the idea, fine. Instead, take that second half hour and load up one of the many, 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 many free backing tracks on YouTube and improvise over them. That's it. Because at least you're developing your ability to improvise. You're taking those exercises that you were doing earlier in the day and trying to put them into a musical context, which is, again, it's better than nothing, certainly. So yeah, I'd do that. And it's important to mention that if you are one of these people on the path to actual, you know, like success with music, if you want to make this like what you do, then you will start to get more time the more you do it, because you can start tapering off some of these other responsibilities. However, I will argue strongly that it requires making some sacrifices. You know, I remember there was this interview with Alexi Lejo from Children of Bodom. It really spoke to me because he said, like, if you want to be one of the best guitarists in the world, if you want to live up to your idols, it might require breaking up with your girlfriend. It might require skipping out on parties. It might require dropping out of school. Like, he was very upfront about the sacrifices that sometimes you have to make. In my case, it was literally stop playing so many video games and, you know, again, maybe skip the occasional party. But for me, that was kind of natural because making progress with my music was kind of the only thing that was really calling to me at that point. It was the only thing that was like the most fun I could be doing with my time. So it was, of course, what I wanted to do. It never felt like a sacrifice. It never has. And now, if you do have an extra hour, if you can spare 2 hours a day. I have mixed feelings on this. Part of me wants to say that I would just take the 2 half-hour segments and make them an hour segment each. That has worked for me before, but I have like this nagging feeling in like the back of my head that there's a better way that I can't quite put my finger on yet. If anyone wants to experiment and let me know in the comments, please do. I will pin any suggestions that you say are very effective. But I think that's gonna wrap this up for now. Thanks so much for watching. I have new guitar lessons coming out every Saturday, as well as other music lessons coming out every single day. I aim to make this channel the single destination for anything and everything you could need to achieve success in music.